My girlfriend cheated. While I was in the hospital recovering from surgery, so I sold everything we owned and watched her beg for forgiveness online. I'm a 26-year-old guy, and this all started when I went in for what should have been a routine surgery. It wasn't life-threatening, just a ruptured appendix, but the timing couldn't have been worse. I'd been working long hours, planning to propose to my girlfriend Mia and thinking seriously about our future. We'd just renewed our lease, got a rescue dog together, and even started looking at starter homes online. When I got rushed into the ER with stabbing pain in my gut, it felt like my body was crashing right as my life was coming together. Mia was amazing at first. She held my hand through the morphine haze, argued with nurses to get my prescriptions faster, and even slept in the hospital chair the first night. She promised to handle everything while I was down, paying bills, walking Bruno, our dog, handling groceries. I remember lying in that hospital bed, drugged up and nauseous, thinking, damn, this is the woman I'm going to marry. But then something shifted. By the third day, she started showing up late. When she did come, she was distracted, texting constantly, smiling at her phone, and flipping it face down every time I glanced over. I tried not to read into it. I was foggy, weak, barely able to sit upright. Maybe I was just feeling vulnerable. Maybe it was the meds messing with my head. I remember asking her softly, "Everything okay?" And she gave me that quick, dismissive smile. "Yeah, babe. Just work stuff. Go back to sleep, okay?" I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. She kissed my forehead, squeezed my hand, and went right back to tapping away on her phone while I drifted off. Looking back, that was the first time I ignored my gut. But it wouldn't be the last. The first thing I noticed after getting discharged was how quiet the apartment felt without her in it. Mia had promised to pick me up after surgery, but she texted last minute saying she had to deal with something urgent at work and that I should just Uber home. It stung, but I brushed it off. Maybe she was just overwhelmed. Maybe juggling everything, me, the dog, work, was too much. So I limped into our apartment, stitched up and sore, expecting to find a note or something thoughtful waiting. But the place looked untouched, like she hadn't been around much at all. There were unopened mail piles, an overflowing dog bowl, and the trash was still full from the night I'd gotten rushed to the ER. Bruno practically tackled me, tail wagging like he hadn't seen a familiar face in days. That was my first real punch in the chest. I called Mia. No answer. Just a text back, "Hey babe, sorry swamped. Talk later." That night she didn't come home until nearly midnight. Her makeup was smudged and she looked surprised to see me awake on the couch. "You're up," she said, forcing a tired smile. "Yeah, kind of hard to sleep when your stitches pull every time you move." She didn't offer a hug or a kiss, just walked past me into the bathroom. No, "How are you feeling?" or "Do you need anything?" Just distance. The next morning, she left early before I even woke up. No breakfast, no check-in. Just a scribbled note, meeting at 8 a.m. Be back late. Love you. I stared at that note for a long time. Love you. It looked rushed, detached, like something written out of habit instead of feeling. And that's when I realized something was wrong. Really wrong. About a week into recovery, I finally had the strength to go through my emails and finances, mostly to make sure rent, utilities, and credit card payments were handled while I was out of commission. That's when I noticed it. There was a $78 Uber charge from 2 nights ago, except I hadn't gone anywhere. I was on the couch all night with a heating pad, watching old sitcoms and trying not to throw up. The ride was from downtown to a hotel just a few blocks from our apartment. Then another charge from that same hotel for a late-night food delivery. At first, I thought, maybe Mia used my card by mistake. She had access to my account for emergencies. We'd always been open about that. But when I asked her later that night, she blinked a little too long before answering. "Oh, that? Yeah, sorry, I used your Uber. My phone died and I needed to get home from dinner with the girls. Did you stay at a hotel?" I asked, trying to keep my tone casual. She laughed, but it felt forced. "No, that must be an old charge. Maybe they just processed it late." I wanted to press her, but she looked so exhausted, so annoyed. "Seriously?" she said. "You're acting like I'm scamming you or something." I dropped it. Not because I believed her, but because I was too tired to start a fight I didn't know how to finish. I was healing. I needed rest, not drama. But her reaction stayed with me. That weird pause. That half-smile. The guilt trip when I asked a simple question. That night, while she slept beside me, I checked the hotel's name again. It was definitely current. I even called the front desk anonymously. They confirmed a reservation under her name. Suddenly, the stitches in my side weren't the thing hurting the most. A few days later, I was sitting on the balcony trying to breathe through the gnawing pit in my stomach when my friend Ethan dropped by. He'd been checking in on me throughout the surgery ordeal, bringing coffee and helping walk Bruno when Mia was too busy. That day, though, he looked uneasy. The kind of uneasy that makes your chest tighten before anyone even speaks. We made small talk for a bit, sports, work, random jokes, until he finally blurted out, "Hey man, can I ask something kind of personal?" I nodded slowly. He hesitated, eyes darting toward the door like he wasn't sure if Mia might walk in. "Look, I thought you knew, but I saw Mia a few nights ago. At O'Malley's bar. She wasn't alone." My heart stopped. "What do you mean, not alone?" "She was with some guy. Tall, blonde, gym-type dude. They were sitting close. Like really close. At first I figured maybe a coworker or cousin or something. But then, he swallowed hard. She kissed him, man. Full on kissed him. I didn't say a word. Just sat there staring at the cracks in the balcony floor, feeling my pulse hammer in my ears. I wanted to scream, to call her right then. But Ethan grabbed my shoulder. "Don't, not yet. I only told you because you deserve to know. I'm sorry." When he left, I just sat there for hours, watching the sunset turn to darkness. Every memory with her replayed, every smile, every promise. I kept thinking, she kissed someone else while I was fighting to heal. That night she came home humming, kissed my forehead and said, "I missed you today." I almost asked her who she was really talking to, but I didn't. Not yet. Because now, I needed proof. The next morning, Mia left early again, claiming she had a team meeting and client brunch. I waited until I heard the door click shut and the elevator hum fade. Then I got up, still sore, still stitched, but more awake than I'd felt in days. Her laptop was on the dining table, open but locked. Normally, I wouldn't even think about snooping. But when someone kisses another man while you're recovering from surgery, trust isn't something you protect anymore. I guessed her password on the third try. Bruno's birthday. Of course, at first it looked normal. Emails, Pinterest boards, half-written work memos. But then I opened her messages. She was logged into her cloud. And that's where I found everything. Texts with a contact saved as C, all flirtatious, all recent. Photos of drinks clinking, hotel room selfies. Even a mirror shot of her wearing the same dress she claimed she wore for girls' night. There were heart emojis, inside jokes, and one message that made my stomach twist. He's still recovering. I think he suspects something, but he's too out of it to act. Soon. Soon. Soon what? I clicked deeper. There were Uber receipts, hotel confirmations, and even a note in her calendar that read, "See weekend. He'll be sleeping." It was like peeling back a layer of my life I didn't know existed. The woman I trusted, the woman I thought loved me, had turned my recovery into her getaway. And the worst part, she was good at hiding it, charming, strategic. She kissed me while texting him. She played nurse while plotting an exit. I wasn't even a boyfriend anymore. I was a placeholder. I backed everything up, screenshots, dates, messages. When Mia got home that night, I was lying on the couch like usual. She walked in, kissed my cheek, and said, "You look better today." I smiled. I'm starting to feel like myself again. And I meant it, because now, I had everything I needed. I thought I had all the answers. I thought the messages on her laptop were the full picture, the smoking gun. But I was wrong. I only had half the truth, and the rest came crashing in 2 days later. Mia had left in a rush that morning, late for some client brunch again. She forgot her gym bag by the door. Normally, I wouldn't think much of it. But after everything I'd found, I checked it. There, tucked into a side pocket beneath a granola bar and her makeup pouch, was a second phone, a cheap burner-looking Android with no lock screen, no case. Just black and quiet. My hands shook as I powered it on. The battery was almost dead, but it lit up just enough to open her messages. And I swear to God, it was like stepping into a whole other world. This phone wasn't just for C. There were other names. Guys she'd been flirting with, setting up meetups, sharing photos. One even sent her money through a payment app. Her messages weren't shy. She wasn't confused or lost. She was calculated, cold, and two-faced. One conversation read, "He's still healing. LOL. I might finally ghost him next week." Another said, "You're way more exciting than my home life." There were even voice notes, her whispering, giggling, describing me as pathetic and too soft to see what's happening. I sat there, alone in our apartment, holding a device full of my own humiliation. That phone wasn't just betrayal. It was cruelty. She hadn't just cheated. She enjoyed knowing I didn't suspect it. She weaponized my loyalty, my recovery, my silence. I should have felt anger, rage, or heartbreak. But all I felt was a switch flip inside me, like something cold and clear took over. No more pain. No more waiting. If she thought I was soft, she hadn't met the version of me who just woke up, and I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. Not directly. From that moment on, everything I did was quiet. No arguments. No accusations, no tears. Just precision. I went back to pretending. I made her coffee in the mornings. I kissed her on the cheek before she left. I even texted her sweet little messages like, "Hope your day's going well. Love you." She replied with hearts, lies, and the same fake warmth she'd been feeding me for weeks. What she didn't know was that I'd started preparing for the end. On my terms. First, I met with a friend from college who worked in law. I told him everything, showed him the phone, the laptop screenshots, and the text logs. He gave me advice on how to legally protect myself, especially since some of our assets were shared. Then I checked our accounts. Most of the furniture, the car, even the deposit on the apartment, all under my name. She never bothered to put anything in hers. It was my money, my paperwork, my signature on everything. That gave me room to move. I opened a new bank account, transferred what I could, froze the shared credit card, canceled the streaming services and changed every password, Netflix, Hulu, even Spotify. I even logged her out remotely, one by one. It was petty, but it felt good. She still had no idea. She'd walk in each night with that same fake tired voice. Work was brutal today, and I'd nod like I believed her. I started listing our big items online. The TV, the couch, the desk she never used. I priced them cheap for fast pickup. Strangers came by while she was at work, not realizing they were carrying pieces of my betrayal out the front door. She thought I was still healing, but what she didn't realize was that I'd already begun the surgery she never saw coming. Every lie she ever told me was sitting on a shelf or plugged into a wall, and I was selling it piece by piece. The flat screen we watched movies on? Gone. The blender she had to have for her wellness smoothies? Sold to a college kid for $25. The couch where she used to lay next to me texting other men? Hauled off by a couple who said they were furnishing their first apartment. Each item disappeared like it had never belonged to her. And in truth, it didn't. I bought it all, set it up, paid every bill while she played girlfriend by day and someone else's fantasy by night. She never noticed. That was the shocking part. She'd come home so absorbed in her fake texts and TikToks that she barely looked around. When she did, I had an excuse ready. Couch needed cleaning. TV stopped working, gonna replace it. Bruno chewed through the desk leg. And she believed every word. Meanwhile, I withdrew our shared rent deposit, shut down the utilities under my name, and terminated the lease early. I'd already spoken with the landlord, told him I'd be out within the week. He didn't care, just asked for the keys back and confirmation in writing. I booked a one-way flight to the opposite coast. Nothing fancy, just enough to get gone. I had a friend there, offered me a place to crash while I got on my feet. I packed what little I cared about, some clothes, photos, my laptop, and Bruno's favorite toy. Everything else? I didn't even leave her a spoon. The night before I left, I made sure to take one last walk through the apartment. Empty walls, bare counters, a faint trace of her, perfume still clinging to the air. It wasn't just a space anymore. It was the tomb of a relationship she buried with lies. And I had no intention of leaving. Flowers. I left before sunrise. Bruno curled up in the back seat of the rideshare, the last box on my lap. My flight wasn't for hours, but I didn't care. I just wanted to be gone before she woke up and realized what she'd done finally had a cost. No goodbye note. No dramatic text. Nothing. Just an empty apartment. And silence. By 10 a.m., the messages started. First, confusion. Babe, where's the couch? Why isn't the Wi-Fi working? Did you take the dog? Then panic. She called 6 times. I didn't answer. She left voicemails that sounded increasingly frantic. Her voice cracked on the 3rd one. On the 4th, she was swearing. On the 6th, she was crying. I listened to every one of them. Not to gloat, just to hear the same desperation she never gave me while I was lying in a hospital bed alone. Then, as if scripted by karma itself, she saw the post. I hadn't named her. I didn't have to. I uploaded screenshots of her texts, blurry enough to hide identities but clear enough to expose the betrayal, to a relationship confession forum. Titled it, "She Cheated While I Was in the Hospital." So I disappeared. It exploded overnight. Thousands of comments. Sympathy. Outrage. People reposting it everywhere. Her social media blew up. I watched from a burner account as people tagged her Instagram, connecting the dots. The comments turned savage, people asking, "Is this you? And how could you do that?" By evening, she'd locked all her profiles. Her image, so carefully curated, shattered in less than 24 hours. And me. I was already 2 states away, watching it unfold from a coffee shop, sipping the best damn cup of peace I'd ever tasted, for the first time in weeks. I wasn't the one hurting anymore. It didn't take long before she tried to take back the narrative. The next morning, she posted a video to her Instagram stories, her face bare, voice trembling, mascara already running like she'd rehearsed the tears. She looked directly into the camera and said, "I know some of you have seen the post going around, and I just want to say I made some mistakes, big ones. But I'm only human." She paused for dramatic effect. "Classic Mia, I was in a really dark place," she continued. He was distant. I felt alone. It was complicated. But I never meant to hurt anyone. Thousands of people saw through it immediately. The comment section? Brutal. You cheated while he was in the hospital. Miss me with that dark place, BS. You didn't seem too alone at the hotel. Own it. Don't spin it. She deleted the video within hours, but the damage was done. People had screen recorded it, reposted it, memed it. Her TikTok following dropped by the thousands. She tried posting unrelated content, makeup tutorials, coffee shots, but every post got flooded with the same comments. "Where's your boyfriend now?" Or, "Tell us more about how you accidentally kissed a stranger." That's when she really started unraveling. She texted me again. This time, paragraphs. Rambling apologies. Excuses dressed up as explanations. I didn't know how to cope. I panicked. "You're the only one who ever really saw me." She sent voice messages, too, sobbing, begging, asking for just one conversation to clear the air. I listened to every second, not with bitterness, but with a kind of quiet detachment, like watching a movie you've already seen, where you know exactly how it ends. There was a time I would have given anything to hear those words, a time when I would have believed her. But now it all just sounded like static, fading into the background, and I had no intention of turning the volume back up. I waited a full day before responding, not because I was conflicted, not because I needed time to think, but because I wanted her to sit with the silence, the same way I had, alone in that apartment, alone in that hospital bed, alone in the relationship she burned to the ground. When I finally typed the message, I kept it short. You weren't there for me when I needed you most. Don't expect me to be here now that it's convenient for you. That was it. No insults. No dramatics. No open doors. She saw it instantly. Read receipt popped up, then the typing bubbles appeared. I muted them and blocked her without reading whatever reply she was scrambling to send. Email, blocked. Instagram, blocked. Her number, gone. Even her Venmo. I wanted zero traces of her in my life. She'd had her chance to speak truth, to own up, to show me something real, and instead, she fed me poison and smiled while I swallowed it. Later that evening, a mutual friend messaged me. He said Mia was a wreck, crying to anyone who would listen, claiming I'd overreacted and ghosted her without closure. She even tried spinning it like I was the one who abandoned her. But I didn't bite. I didn't correct the story. I didn't defend myself, because the truth didn't need me to carry it anymore. It was already out there, etched into screenshots, threaded through comment sections, buried in a burner phone I'd since mailed to myself and locked away in storage. Just in case. There was something liberating about not caring how she explained it. Let her tell whatever version helped her sleep. That wasn't my burden anymore. The final text was a line in the sand, and for the first time in a long, long time, I was standing on the right side of it. It's been 7 months now. I live in a new city, across the country from where it all went down. It's quieter here, slower, the kind of place where people smile at you for no reason, and the barista remembers your name by the 3rd visit. I got a small apartment near a park where I take Bruno every morning. He runs like he owns the place, tail high, tongue out, chasing leaves like they wronged him personally. Some mornings, I sit on a bench and just watch him, thinking about the version of me that once lay in a hospital bed, waiting for a woman who never really showed up. That guy was loyal, hopeful, naive. But he was also strong enough to walk away when it counted, strong enough to disappear without screaming, to rebuild in silence, to let go even when it hurt. I started therapy last month, not because I'm broken, but because I want to stay whole. My therapist says betrayal doesn't just scar, it shifts the way you see the world. And he's right. I question more now. I trust slower. But I also choose better. Work's going well. I freelance remotely, set my own hours. I cook again. I even bought a plant I haven't killed yet, which, for me, is a huge win. Sometimes Mia crosses my mind, like a dull echo from a life I no longer recognize. I don't hate her. I don't wish her pain. I just don't wish her anything at all. She became background noise in a story I've rewritten with my own damn hands. The last time I looked in the mirror and really saw myself, I didn't see the victim anymore. I saw the man she underestimated. And as I walked out the door that day with nothing but a suitcase and a dog, I wasn't leaving something behind. I was walking toward something better. Myself.